Seventh board meeting, please stand and join us with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Here.
Councilman McCarthy.
Here.
Councilwoman Noack.
Here.
Councilwoman Inzarello.
Here.
Councilman Loman.
Yeah. Okay, we will begin sitting as Board of Water Commissioners. Deputy Clerk.
We have the minutes of January 31st, and there's 2 transfers between budget accounts. Councilman Loman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarello.
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes. Reconvene as Town Board.
Okay, we have the Greater Long Island Running Club Annual Kings Park 15K on Saturday, March 18th from 9:30 to 12:30. The Wisconsin Athletic Association Annual Opening Day Parade on Saturday, April 22nd from 9:30 to 11:30, and the Building Department Report for February 2023. On public hearings, we have one. It's for the Town Board to consider proposed Local Law 8, 2023, modifying Chapter 221 entitled Property Maintenance as it relates to standards. And Janice Hanson, Assistant Town Attorney, is here to describe the changes.
Good afternoon, Supervisor and members of the Town Board. The purpose of today's hearing is for the Board to consider an amendment to Chapter 221, specifically the addition of subsection 16 to 221-4. The new proposed section prohibits property owners, occupants, and lessees from leaving tree debris, brush, or woody vegetation at the curb for pickup unless it's in accordance with Town of Smithtown Highway Department schedule for pickups, and the yard waste meets certain size and weight limitations. Specifically, the yard waste must be less than 6 inches in diameter, cut into lengths no larger than 4 feet, bundled in bundles not larger than 2 feet by 2 feet by 4 feet, and less than 50 pounds in weight. This section also would prohibit the placement of yard waste produced by landscapers, contractors, or other professionals. Unless there are any questions, that concludes this public hearing.
Any questions by the board?
No.
Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on this public hearing? Being none, I move to close the hearing.
Second.
Councilman Loman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarello.
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes.
Okay, on consent agenda, we have number 1 through 13. That's for the controller, and consent agenda resolutions, number 1 to 5, plus the minutes of 2/16/23.
Is there anyone on the board that wishes to remove any resolutions from the consent agenda?
No, thank you.
No. Deputy Clerk?
Councilman Loman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarello.
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes.
The town board to issue a CEQA negative declaration determination in the matter of the application for site plan approval by ADT Real Estate Storage on the southeast corner of Pulaski Road and Town Line Road in Kings Park. Councilman Loman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarello.
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes.
The town board to authorize the town clerk's office to advertise for the following bids. Bid 2315 sporting goods, 2318 polyethylene mulch bags, 2321 arts and crafts supplies, 2317 veterinarian medications, and 2316 the annual supply bid for the animal shelter supplies. Councilman Loman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarello.
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes.
Authorize the town clerk's office to advertise for a request for proposal for a third-party administrator for tort claims management. Councilman Loman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarello.
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes.
Award the following bids and authorize the purchase of the associated goods or services. Bid 23-8 swimming pool chemicals to Tortorello Autochem. 23-3 for asphalt resurfacing to Suffolk Paving Corp. and Rosemar Contracting. 23-9 automotive lubricants to Lubinet and Relodyne Northeast. And 23-7 for construction of the picnic pavilions at Hoyt Farm, the base bid only to P. de Blasio Builders. Councilman Loman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarello,
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack,
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy,
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes.
The town board to approve the following. Adoption of amended comprehensive emergency management plan, the rescission of resolution 2023-180 of the town board meeting on February 16th as it pertains to the extension of bid 2223 with Jasper Engines and Transmissions. The rejection of all bids received on February 2nd in connection with bid 23-4 for concrete curbs, sidewalks, and aprons. The Land Tech Group to furnish and install a synthetic turf soccer field at Veterans Memorial Park as set forth in their proposal at a cost not to exceed $529,603. Renewal of the agreement with Source Pass Total for remote monitoring in support of the town's computer network through January 31st, 2024. A salary increase of $500 for members of the Board of Assessment Review. Extension of agreements with Omar Duzin for Androli and Charles P. Toner Parks, and Hakan Yeldrum for Hoyt Farm for mobile concession sales at town parks for the 2023 season. An appointment of Patricia O'Hara, and there's a correction to the title. It's the cash drawer officer from the building department. Purchase of multi-factor authentication license and implementation services for the town's computer network from CDI, and to further authorize the supervisor to sign on a form approved by the town attorney, and an agreement with Comac Ambulance District and Comac Volunteer Ambulance Corporation for the calendar year 2023 to provide for the billing and collection of user fees imposed under persons furnished emergency medical and ambulance services. Councilman Loman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella,
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack,
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy,
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes.
Authorize the supervisor to execute the following resolutions on a form approved by the town attorney. An agreement with Stony Brook Fire District to utilize the Edward Mancuso Fire Training Center through June 30th, 2023. The Engineering Department and the Department of Environment and Waterways to prepare plans and all requisite permit application materials in order to obtain a New York State Department of Environment and Conservation permit to conduct drainage and erosion repairs in the vicinity of Knight Lane and Kings Park. An agreement on behalf of the Hauppauge Ambulance District with the Central Islip Hauppauge Volunteer Ambulance Corps, effective January 1st through December 31st, 2023. An agreement with Huntington Hearing and Speech Center through December 31st, 2023, to perform OSHA-required hearing conservation services as needed for employees of the Environment and Waterways. And an agreement with Heidecker Land Surveying to provide survey services for the given parks at a cost not to exceed $20,400. Councilman Loman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarello,
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack,
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy,
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes.
The town board to approve settlement in the following matters per the recommendation of the town attorney. Cross Island Industries in the amount of $215,360. Asphalt Supply of Long Island, $867,319. And the authorized payment in the sum of $14,382.54 to Lockwood, Kessler, and Bartlett. Councilman Loman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarello,
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack,
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy,
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes.
Authorize the following amendments to the Uniform Traffic Code and authorize the Traffic Department to install and maintain the necessary signs. No parking on Country Lane Road from the 25 to 100 feet in Kings Park. Change the hours of the no parking on Agron Lane from 9 to 6 to 10 to 6. And the last one is to add a stop sign on Shaker Ridge Lane. Councilman Loman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella,
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack,
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy,
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes.
And personnel at items number 1 to 5 as described on the agenda. Councilman Loman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella,
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack,
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy,
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes. That concludes resolutions. We will move to the public portion. We do have residents who want to speak, correct?
Yes, we do.
Okay, before we start, Public participation is subject to the rules of decorum which you have on your speaker cards as per Town Code Section 76.7. Public portion is for town-related matters only. Any unsubstantiated, unverified, or material false information will be interrupted. The 3-minute time limit will be strictly enforced. When you hear the tone, you have 1 minute to wrap up your statement. Please give us your name and address, and address the town board. Thank you.
The first speaker is Vanest Avergel. Am I pronouncing that correct? Vanest?
My name is Vanessa Avergel at 58 Rose Street, Smithtown, New York. Good afternoon, members of the council. I'm here to request your help in calling for an end-to-end audit of the New York State Board of Elections. I'm a 20-year resident of Smithtown and have raised 3 children in this community of hard workers striving to provide a safe environment to raise their family on their own terms. Our local Smithtown government has done a highly commendable job in making this goal our reality. Now, however, among other things, our town's own zoning laws made on our terms are being threatened by those who don't live here. The obvious reason for this is the disenfranchisement of our votes. An open-source citizens audit of the 2020 general election in New York shows there are 2.4 million New York State voter ID numbers attached to 1.2 million registrants. If this number represents one person, one vote, who controls the extra votes? I would like to know whose vote is worth more than mine. I'm clearly being underrepresented here. We have 95 legislators who cannot prove they won. They're in office from races where the margin of error was below that of the number of illegal votes. There are 1.9 million registrations in the state voter rolls missing from the county voter rolls. If the county controls the rolls, how should the state have what the county does not? These errors are far beyond the margin of error allowed by election law, and they must be addressed and fixed. Furthermore, they cast a big shadow of doubt that the lawmakers representing us are the people that we wanted. I need your help to address the discrepancies by following up with our County Board of Elections and the state. I kindly request this council to call for an end-to-end audit of the New York State Board of Elections. Our voter rolls are in disarray, and no one knows how many votes are valid. The citizens audit also shows database level manipulation, and this should frighten everyone in the state. New York State voter rolls, as part of our national security infrastructure, have been breached and compromised, and they are being manipulated, and this is being ignored. We are deprived of our legal right for our vote to count. This data calls for an end-to-end audit of the New York State Board of Elections. I thank you all for listening and implore you to act now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Heather Sorelli.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Heather Sorelli. I live at 11 Red Oak Road in St. James. I'm here regarding the proposed development of Bull Run Farm on Mill Pond Road in St. James. I'm here to respectfully request that any public meetings regarding the development of that land be held in the evening, because there are many, many people in the neighborhood that are very concerned about this development, proposed development of this land, and a lot of people can't make a 2 p.m. meeting. So I'm just requesting that we can have the meeting in the evening to accommodate people who are working. I'll just also briefly read you what I'm concerned about. Also, I live right next door to the farm. So my entire, one side of my entire property runs along the farm. I've lived there for 26 years. I raised 4 children there. And naturally, I'm very, very concerned about what they're proposing on that property. So the proposal is the development of Bull Run Farm in St. James. The developer's proposal is to bulldoze the century-old 1917 Elderkin farmhouse plus a second house on the 9.2-acre property. They want to erect a massive 70,000 square foot 2-story building, an unsightly sewage treatment plant, and a huge parking lot right next to my house, right next to a bunch of our houses. There's, I think, 14 houses surrounding that property. We must not allow the commercialization of historic Mills Pond Road corridor, which would devastate the value of our homes. Bull Run Farm is zoned for homes on acre lots. The town's draft comprehensive plan recommends that such facilities not be allowed in residential neighborhoods. Town Code Section 322-99, which supports that this structure is not appropriate and does not fit the surrounding character of our neighborhood. So naturally, again, I'm very concerned about this. And I thank you for your time and consideration in this most urgent matter.
Thank you.
And thank you also for your time and service to our community.
You will, this application is under advisement. There has been no determinations made by this board.
Okay,
And you can rest assured, we understand the residents' concerns.
yeah,
That's the reason why this board demanded the applicant to hold a scoping meeting in front of the community.
thank you.
And as far as the public hearing, when there is a public hearing scheduled, it will be at 7 PM at the senior
Okay.
center, as are all of the land use, major land use
Okay.
development public hearings.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Louise Sassone.
Good afternoon. I'm here as well. I was going to bring up the issue, but you've already answered my question.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your name.
I'm Louise Sassone. I'm at 122 Mills Pond Road, and I was going to also request that the hearing for the exception of the development of Bull Run Farm take place at night, but you already answered that, so I thank you all for your time. I'll be short and sweet. Have a great day.
Okay, thank you.
David Cassay.
Yes, I'm David. This is my wife Lori. We both live on Mills Pond Road, 151. We've been there for 42 years, and we live directly across from the Bull Run property. Our first speaker pretty much summed up all of our issues. We came here today just to confirm, or hopefully confirm, that the public meeting will be held in a appropriate setting that enough people can come in to hear, voice their opposition or support for the project. But thank you for your time.
It will be at, any public hearing on all our major land use will be at 7 PM, senior center.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Janeth Valentino.
Good afternoon, members of the council. My name is Janet Valentino. I live at 10 Plaintree Lane. See, I bought my home on Plaintree Lane, 1 block from Mills Pond, 45 years ago. I'm here representing my family members, which are also additional homeowners. We are 7 eligible voters. I know there will be critical discussions addressing the environment, the increased traffic, the invasive lighting, and the noise pollution that will negatively impact the St. James residents. My question today is, knowing the scope of the residents' disapproval for giving zoning exception, what exactly is the reason for giving the exemption? that's basically all I needed to say. I want to thank you for all listening,
Thank you,
and look forward to our future meetings.
thank you.
Thank you.
Roy Reynolds.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak this afternoon. My name is Roy Reynolds, and I'm actually from Brookhaven Town, so don't hold that against me. But I'm following up on one of my colleagues' speeches just now. She spoke about the deficit report and voting integrity. So I'm working with a group of citizens here in Smithtown and Suffolk County, and we're involved with voting integrity, especially the voting rolls. It is our goal today to raise your awareness of voting irregularities in New York State and ask for your help. Most recently, we've been reviewing the New York State voter rolls, technically known as the New York State Voter Database, which of course includes residents of Smithtown and Suffolk County. It's supposed to be an accurate list of people who are eligible to vote. In 2021, a copy of the New York State Voter Database was obtained and reviewed for accuracy and integrity. The data came from the New York State Board of Elections, the county voting rolls, and New York State Secretary of State. Okay, I have a copy of the report here, which I'd like to submit to you. You should have received this already, and I'll give it to the clerk later on. The report is known as a deficits report, and it found serious inconsistencies in the voter rolls. It affects residents of Smithtown and New York State. What the report found is that the voter rolls are not accurate, unqualified voters are voting, and the number of votes are not equaling the number of voters who voted. As an example, for the 2020 election, the report found over 338,000 more votes were cast than voters who voted. There were over 740,000 ineligible votes statewide, and over 2.4 million New York State voter ID numbers were assigned to less than 1.2 million residents. These 2.4 million registrants are known as clone voters, which have multiple voter ID numbers and can vote, in some cases, have voted multiple times in the same election. There should only be one state voter ID number per voter. Clone voters have been found in the town of Smithtown and the counties through the state. To this end, we could use your support. In the upcoming, we would appreciate a full end-to-end audit, as my colleague had mentioned, by professionals. And in the upcoming weeks, a resolution will be submitted for your consideration, calling for a statewide audit of the New York State voter database. The voter rolls have been compromised and need to be corrected. We need your help. Thank you for your time, and I know some other people want to speak, but I don't see them here yet. I guess, oh,
Mr.
my
Reynolds,
colleagues.
Have your group gone to the state senator and the Suffolk County legislature yet?
They've been to the Suffolk County legislature, yes.
Okay.
They've also been to the state, and they're kind of in disbelief as to what's going on. And I don't think they quite understand what we found. And, you know, it's,
Well, submit your material to the clerk, and we will, or I will contact Senator Matera and our representative on the Suffolk County legislature, and I'll share your report with them and have that conversation.
great.
Let them know that we're here.
Do you have a name for the group that you're,
Concerned citizens.
okay, do you have like a petition or Facebook page or?
Well, Audit New York are the people who did the report. Audit New York, right? Citizens Audit New York. They did
Okay,
the report.
okay,
They hired the consultants to do the analysis
Okay.
of the data.
all right,
There's a lot of data on that.
thank you.
Patrick Nguyen.
Good afternoon. My name is Patrick Nguyen. I am a resident of Smithtown, a citizen of Smithtown. You can, don't hold that against me, though. My wife and I have raised 4 kids here in this concert. They've all attended Sachem schools. And what Roy and Van Est had been speaking about is also a concern of mine regarding our elections. That deficits report I've reviewed several times, and there's no question that the information has come from the New York State Board of Elections, as well as the Secretary of State's office and county boards of elections. And my concern is, having gone through this, you know, there's doubts. And I can see people questioning and doubting even the deficits report, but the problem isn't necessarily the doubts or the questions, it's the ignoring of these concerns. And they're genuine, and if you look at that data, I think most of the people that we're familiar with can either alleviate the doubts or answer the questions. And, you know, they're going to present you guys with a resolution to audit the 2022 general elections, because they also have data that they've gathered concerning those. And, you know, Article 4, Section 4 of the United States Constitution guarantees to every one of us a Republican form of government. And my concern is if somehow our elections are compromised, we no longer have a representative democracy or a republic. And, you know, that casts doubt on how we're actually governed. So my biggest concern is that that deficit report be reviewed by the town board, the resolution that you're going to be presented with be seriously considered, and as a citizen, all these people are volunteers, they put this stuff together at their own expense and on their own time, and I don't think that should be extraordinary. I think that's actually required of us. But as elected officials, what's required of you is to look at these resolutions, look at that deficits report, and if you have doubts, don't ignore them, ask the questions. But when you're presented with this resolution, I'm gonna have to insist that it be signed or, I'm sorry, I can't find the word, but you have to look into it. You have to actually take it very seriously, and as a citizen, I think we have to insist at this point that it be seriously considered and adopted. And
When are these resolutions coming forth?
shortly you'll be receiving
And
them.
you'll make sure we receive that?
Absolutely. I'll bring them to you myself if I need to.
That's fine.
All right?
Correct.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. That's it? Okay. That concludes the board meeting for today. Thank you all for coming. Go out there and be safe. Move to close the meeting.
Second.
Supervisor Waheim?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack? Councilman... Councilwoman Inzarello?
Yes.
Councilman Lohman?
Yes. Thank you all.